Right now, according to the Bureau of Prisons website, there are 99 inmates sick with COVID-19 in Beaumont's federal prison, but their family members don't know much more. KFDM's Angel San Juan is investigating the COVID crisis at the complex for weeks now, and he joins us with a new wrinkle that's creating even more hardship. Angel?
We've talked to multiple family members with loved ones incarcerated at the Beaumont Federal Prison. They blame mismanagement for the COVID outbreak. They're accusing administrators of housing those who tested positive for COVID with inmates who did not have the virus. Now that the disease is spreading, the prison is controlling the message, not letting the wives, parents, and children of these sick prisoners know their condition. So as we join them in their pursuit for answers, we've discovered another health threat plaguing the prison.
Well, I never heard nothing back from him.
On the phone and on the road. That's been Brandy Cavasso's routine for the past week since she learned her husband Pedro had been infected with COVID-19. He's an inmate at the camp inside Beaumont's federal prison complex where the virus is spreading, and Brandy believes the prison is letting it happen.
That's what my husband said. He said he felt like they were trying to make him all get it. And that's what I've learned too, is that they they think that all of them should get it and get it over with.
And now her husband has it, but she worries he won't get over it. Pedro is 65 and a cancer survivor. Brandy says he's now hospitalized with COVID, plus has something on his right lung. Brandy is a nurse in Central Texas and knows this is not good. That's why she is now here.
All night long I drove. And I knew I wasn't going to get to see him, and I don't expect to see him. But I expect some answers, and I expect somebody to give me some kind of update on his condition.
Families of the federal prisoners in Beaumont must rely on each other for information. That's how Brandy was able to learn Pedro was taken to Baptist Hospital. But the prison still controls the release of the message, even when the inmates are hospitalized.
Completely unprofessional, inhumane.
Brandy says that's unacceptable, whether it's COVID or any other illness an inmate has. Families should be kept in the loop.
Some sort of protocol to let families know when inmates are sick. And, they told me that if he deteriorated enough, they would call me. Well, in my eyes, he's deteriorated enough because he is, 25% of what he used to be. He used to get up and exercise every day. He was very active in the prison, walking and doing whatever he could. And now he's laying in bed for days.
During our weeks of investigation into the COVID crisis here at the federal prison complex, we not only heard from inmates and their families, but correctional officers also reached out to us. One of them shed light on another health concern here. Joseph Confessori is suing the Bureau of Prisons. The correctional officer claims the Bureau and others are allowing toxic mold to infest every building that makes up the Beaumont Federal Prison Complex. We've obtained these photos that were part of Officer Confessori's EEOC complaint. Shows the mold that Confessori says has not been remediated for more than 10 years, way before the COVID-19 pandemic. But Brandy fears the mold will further aggravate the impact of the virus.
That prison should be closed down. Anybody should not be around mold, and definitely pre-existing conditions, inmates that have pre-existing medical conditions should not be around mold, definitely.
Records show that the mold has seriously affected at least 2 officers. Confessori says he's faced retaliation for exposing all of this, but he continues onward, and so does Brandy.
I will keep fighting until I get answers.
Both holding the prison accountable so that lives will be saved. And at this hour, Brandy has yet to get an update on her husband's condition. Plus, we've heard from several correctional officers telling us another problem plaguing the prison is that the facility is short-staffed. By more than 100 officers. They say a congressional mandate calls for them to run 2 officers per housing unit, and now there's only 1 officer per housing unit. We also want to update you on the Department of Justice's order directing federal prisons to release nonviolent inmates who are more vulnerable to the virus into home confinement. Bureau of Prison officials say they are complying with that directive, although many families we've talked to say they are not. Southeast Texas Congressman Randy Weber's office is currently in talks with prison administrators to make sure guidelines are followed. To read those guidelines, log on to our website, kfdm.com, after the newscast and find the guidelines in the web version of this report. Greg?